Hello. Today we're going to be learning about credit. Credit is one of the most frightening things and intimidating things for people, but the truth is, with a little bit of knowledge and education and applying yourself towards it, it's really not that scary. It always feels like balls in the air, though, I got to be honest. So let's talk about what credit is. At the end of this session, I'm going to send you some homework with a credit test and some vehicle research. We're going to talk about buying a car today. So credit is when a company extends you money, a loan, and you pay it back. When you repay your obligations on time and as agreed with no late payments, you get good credit. When you do not repay your bills or pay them late, you get bad credit. That's simply put what credit is. There are different types of credit. Revolving credit, which would be like a credit card. If you have a $1,000 limit and you charge $500, you have $500 available to you. If you pay back $100, you have $600 available to you. An installment plan would be like a car or house. You take one loan and you pay a certain amount, set amount every single month until it's paid off. And then collateral would be your house. So let's say you buy a house. If you don't pay your loan back, they'll come take your house away from you, or your car, they'll repossess it. So those are the three basic types of credit. There are only 5 uses for credit, in my opinion, and one of them, the vehicle purchase, I don't always agree with. I believe that a vehicle loses value so fast you're always underwater. So it would be buying a home, buying a car, educating yourself for college or a vocational school. You're learning about that now. Business, starting your own business, and emergencies. Those are the 5 uses for credit that you should have when you use them. Your credit report is the report that says, gosh, Diana Blair has been a good credit customer. She pays her bills on time, or she doesn't pay her bills on time. And it's what every single financial institution will look at it before they extend you credit. There's an interesting thing is that landlords, potential employers, might look at it to see, are you a responsible person before they hire you? So having good credit is going to help you through your whole life, and you need to be really aware of it. This is what a credit report could look like. There are many different kinds of credit reports. So it's going to tell you over here, you're going to have your name. Let me pull up the you're going to have your name, address, different employers. You can make a statement on your credit report if you disagree with something, and it's going to say you have 3 revolving accounts. Here's your balances. Did you pay on time or not? And that's what's going to show here. So this is someone's mortgage, and it shows that they've paid in this green area, that they've paid their mortgage current. They were late 30 days here and 60 days here. According to TransUnion, though, it shows different. So if you look, they can all show differently. Oh, let me go back to this. So one of the important things about your credit, and a really good place these days to look for credit, is creditkarma.com. So if you go to creditkarma.com, you can sign up, look at your credit, and they give you some really good tips on it, and they are absolutely free, which is really important. You're going to hear a lot of places that'll be like, I'll help you clean up your credit, or I'll help you get credit. You don't really need to do that. Go to creditkarma.com. So how would you get credit? Well, you can get a secured credit card. Maybe you give the financial institution that opened your bank account, give them $100. They put it into a special savings account and give you a credit card of a $100 limit, or $250 or $500. If after a year you've paid on time, they're going to go ahead and increase that and not have to have it secured. You could ask someone to co-sign for you, which means that if you don't pay it back, they will have to. So be very careful who you ask and make sure that you're responsible. That will help your credit. Or you would have collateral, and that would be like a house or your car. Credit cards are a very, very interesting thing. Let me give you the history of credit. Back in the 50s, it used to be that every single thing you bought, you had to buy with cash, whether it was a house, a car, a washer, or dryer. And the banks realized that they could give you a mortgage and they would make a lot of money. And then you could buy a car So then they went from mortgages to cars. Then they realized if they gave people the ability to buy on credit, they could charge a higher rate of interest and really make bank, which they do. So the interest on a credit card is the fee you pay to use the money. If your credit's good, low interest. Credit's bad, high interest. Obviously, they make a lot of interest and fees if you're late. It could increase your interest rate plus the late fee. They spend billions of dollars on marketing every year. You see those commercials everywhere. And you need to be aware of how easy it is to use a credit card instead of cash. And you must control yourself when you have a credit card. Otherwise, you end up with a lot of debt. For instance, say you bought $3,000 in furniture, and you get your first apartment, your first house, you run around and you buy all kinds of stuff with your credit card. And before you know it, you have $2,000 of debt on your card. Both of them have a minimum payment of $10. And you say to yourself, $10 really isn't that bad. That's not terrible at all. Jane, on her card, pays an extra $10 a month. And John only pays the $10. So here's what happens. He's getting charged $33 in interest. His payment now goes to $60. Principal repayment is remaining balance. Pretty soon, this is how it calculates out. In the end, for his $2,000, John has paid $4,240 over 15 years. But Jane, on the other hand, paid an extra $10 a month, pays $3,200 over 7. She pays $1,200 in interest. He pays $2,240 in interest. Which would you rather do? $10 extra. 1 cup of coffee, or maybe 2, maybe 1 at Starbucks. So you need to make sure that you look at your statement. It'll tell you if you only make the minimum payment, here's how long it's going to take you to pay this off. Always pay extra and pay your credit card debt off as fast as you can. Creditors love that. Let's talk about buying a car. I know that most of you are just starting your work life, and having a vehicle, if you don't already have one, is going to become very important to you. And you need to make sure that you've done the right research to not get taken advantage of. So one of the things I've done here is I've given you prices to compare places, Edmunds, Kelley Blue Book, CarMax is a good place, and research what kind of a car you're going to buy. Don't believe everything you're told. Those salespeople are there to make commissions. A new wave that's coming in is just the flat price car. And what you do with that is the price on the car is the price it is. They've given you the lowest that they're able to do and make a profit. And you just pay that price. So CarMax would be a place like that. You just walk into CarMax, the price on the car is what you're going to pay, and no negotiating. If you go to an old traditional dealership, you need to be really careful because they will try to negotiate the most they can, and you don't want to be taken advantage of, which is why you need to do the research shown here to make sure that you know what the value of the vehicle you're purchasing is, to not be taken advantage of. So let's buy a car. Let's say that I walk in and I'm looking at a Toyota Camry. It's $30,000. I know that I can afford $450 a month. It's going to take me 4 years at 5% interest. Don't worry about the math on this. I just am showing it to illustrate it to you. But as I'm walking in, I see the Toyota Tundra. Woohoo, I really want that Tundra. And problem is, it's $40,000, which is way out of my price range. But the shark, the salesperson in the dealership says, comes out and he says, "Hi, how can I help you today, Diana?" And I say, "I'm here to buy a Toyota Camry." And he goes, "But I saw you looking at the Tundra." And I say, "I can't afford that Tundra." He goes, "What if you could?" I'm like, okay. The problem is he lengthened the length of my loan from 4 years to 7. My interest rate went up, but my payment stays the same. And therein lies the revenue. That's what you need to be really careful of. A lot of times they'll start off that conversation with, "How much can you afford each month?" And you tell them $450, and they'll say, "I get you in that at $450. Now, what happens if a year or two goes by and I need to go turn this Tundra in because I've had 3 children and they don't fit in the car, you have to be careful that you don't end up being upside down in your, I want to teach this how right. You want to make sure that you are not upside down. And being upside down means that you owe more than something is worth. So on the $40,000 Tundra, maybe 3 years down the line, I owe, just a moment, I owe $25,000 on it. I go to the dealership, and it's only worth $20,000. That means I'm upside down $5,000. Now, something that a lot of people will do is they'll say to you, that wonderful, wonderful salesperson, as you go to trade it in, don't worry, we'll put the $5,000 difference in the new car. And you need to be aware of that. You need to make sure that that's not happening to you. Try to make that little bit of extra payment so that you don't end up upside down. That's why sometimes I have an issue with a vehicle, using credit for a vehicle, because it's very easy to get upside down. Usually, you drive a car off the lot and the value drops significantly. So be really aware of that. Be a smart consumer. Okay. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about today is identity theft. This is a very real and important issue for you. And it happens a lot. And there are ways to avoid it. You can't always avoid it. All of your information is already on the internet. It's already out there. Anytime you have any account anywhere, that information, not through your own, but hackers break into financial institutions. Hackers break into anything to steal information. They walk past you. They have these little things on phones that they can walk past you and get your credit card information from your purse. So it's very hard, but you can do certain things to safeguard yourself and make it harder. And what identity theft is, when someone steals your personal information, Social Security, credit card, bank account, even your address. So they dive in the trash and they take your old bills. So make sure you are shredding things. They skim or fish, which means they'll send you an email and say, hey, I'm from the IRS and you owe money. Click here to pay your bill or to view this. You click on it, enter your information, and they now have it. So let me tell you this. No financial institution, no IRS or government entity is ever going to send you an email that says, hey, click here. Instead, they're going to say, please call this number. And even then, you call the number you have for that institution. And be careful about people asking you for your personal information on the phone. When you change your address, they'll steal your purse or your wallet, obviously. Get a shredder, shred your documents. Don't give your personal information on the phone unless you call the company yourself. Do not ever give anybody your PIN number. Predators. Direct deposit advance is very much a form of a payday loan, and you need to be very, very careful if you use it. And I would only use it never, because you should be establishing credit, which you would use in case of an emergency. Payday loans, risk-based pricing. Certain mortgage companies and mortgage lenders are very shady. As a Native American, you should be aware that you usually have access to what they call a HUD 184 loan, which is a specific loan for Native Americans and is awesome. Title loans is where you put your card for collateral. So payday loans are small, short-term loans. It's, the thing you do. Let me go over here because here we go. Let's say that you need a payday loan. It's 2 weeks till payday, and you need to borrow $100 because your dog is ill. It's $110 for those 14 days. What if you can't pay it at the end of that 14 days and you have to roll it over? You can keep rolling this over and rolling it over and rolling it over, and pretty soon you've paid $261 for a $100 loan. It's the same as I'm trying to tell you as it goes back to the direct deposit advance. Just remember, if it's really easy or it sounds too good to be true, nothing worth doing was ever easy. Usually most things take a lot of work. So make sure you feel comfortable with people, even the bank that you go to, and don't trust everyone even if someone does. It's your money. Be accountable for it. And that is the end of today. Here's your homework. I want you to take this sheet and I want you to go through and think about all these different things. Would you use credit for that? Would you use credit for an Xbox or to buy clothing. And that's one of the things I want you to think about. Please let your counselor know if you have any questions or you need additional assistance. Hey, thanks and have a great day.